This year has been a busy year for our friends at Simgot. Earlier this year, I think it's safe to say that the community has been wowed by the level of details that was on offer by the EA500. That is followed up by the chifi offerings with the EW100 and EW200, which kept the bottom shelf divers really happy. Especially the EW200, where the tone quality is just so good. It was just very full sounding that is very newbie friendly. If this is your first IM video and you're looking for what to buy, do consider the EW200. But today, we are not going to talk about what Simgot has released in the past year. We are going to look to the present and future. Today, we are talking about the EA1000 Fermat. So hi everyone, if this is your first time watching the show and like what you are seeing, do press the subscribe button to help a guy out. And if you have already done so, you are a very nice person. So let's just start things off with an unboxing of the EA1000 Fermat. We are greeted with a purplish box that has Fermat's last theorem printed on the front of it. This gives me PTSD from the time in school where I had to do advanced math. I cannot do advanced math where things don't really make sense. The top of the box does show the product name, and when you flip it to the back, you are then greeted by not one, but three different FR curves. Basically, the EA1000 has different nozzles for you to choose from, and these are the three FR curves from the three different nozzles. Don't worry, I'll FR them too for you good folks who watch. After shaking the sleeve off, the box pops out. You then have the Fermat Last Theorem 3D pop-up card thingamajig, which brings me back to my youth, where I always wanted pop-up books, but my mom thinks that it's always a very big waste of money as the books don't really have much literary content and is taken up by pointless 3D popping up bits. Anyways, Fermat's Last Theorem is thought to be impossible to solve until 1995, where Andrew Wiles published something to show that it can be solved. I guess the story here is to never give up. Love always wins, and always eat your broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Fermat says hi. Below that, you have the IM sitting in their own compartment. Removing the first accessory box, you have some sponge, and when you go treasure digging in them, you'll find all the good little interchangeable nozzles for nozzle changing. The longer accessory box has two sets of the same ear tips, good for clumsy people such as yours truly, who consistently loses things all the time. You are also given more O-rings for the nozzle and also some literature that of course no one reads. In the last box, you'll find the IM case itself. It is magnetic and can close quite easily, which is nice. Inside it is the cables of the IM as well. All in all, packaging is really well put together, especially considering the price. A pretty complete package, I'd say. So next, build quality. The EA1000 comes in a mirror finish, and as you know, mirror finish is quite a pain in the butt to make, simply because any finishing error can be easily seen. I am quite happy to say that mine came in a pristine condition. Any marks in the B-roll that you see is probably due to my grubby little hands. The front of the IM, you have a beveled glass faceplate and some pattern underneath it. I think this really makes the EA1000 look really premium. On the back of the chassis, you will see the opening for the passive radiator near the top of the IM. Below that is the usual raised section as seen in the EA500, where this makes the IM so much more comfortable to use. The nozzle here is interchangeable, but it does have the red ring nozzle on default. This review will be based on it. The EA1000 does come in a interchangeable 2-pin termination. Cable provider is a silver-plated OFC LITS cable. Driver-wise, the EA1000 has the second generation dual magnet dual chamber dynamic driver that Simgot uses. That diaphragm, although no one mentions what material it's used, it has a very beautiful purple gold alloy that has superior rigidity and lightweightness. Sound! As there are three nozzles in the EA1000, I will base this review on the default nozzle, the red ring nozzle. Tonally, the rest of the nozzle do change the upper frequency somewhat, but it does not really change the character of the IM. There are three nozzles here, a red ring, a black ring, and a gold nozzle. So the red ring is actually based on the Harman 2019 curve, and it's what I feel to be the most balanced version among the three. The black ring nozzle is great for folks who enjoy sparkly treble with a little bit more energy. The gold nozzle still has that great treble characteristic, but it isn't as sustained as the reds or the blacks. But overall, the nozzle do not change the tonal character of the IEM. So the EA1000 is a natural warm IEM. What sets it apart from others in the market is the inclusion of a passive radiator. I found that this inclusion of it really makes the bass very resonant and very lifelike. It just augments the texture of bass, making them a little bit more airy and a little bit more diffuse, but more importantly, very natural sounding. Bass. The passive radiator makes a huge difference in the tone of the bass of the EA1000. The way it changes tonality with added resonance and realistic decay is simply delectable. By no way is the bass texture of the EA1000 like that of an open IEM, which dissipates way too quickly. Bass is fast with unbelievable texture and very natural decay. I would say that bass is airy yet full sounding all at the same time, if that makes sense. Sub-bass extension is also extensive on the EA1000. You get very good levels of visceral bass impact that is mated nicely to a robust mid-bass offering. Of course, I need to mention this, the EA1000 is not a bass head IEM, but neither are they anemic. I found that Simgot has done a very good job controlling the quantity of bass and increasing the resolution and more importantly the texture of bass. The improvement in texture does make bass have a 3D-like rendering. Midrange on the EA1000 has a upper mid-range focus which really helps female vocals. Female vocals just sound so very delicate and sweet. Resolution here is a whole level up from the EA500. There is this airiness to the tone that again coalesces well with the fundamental female tones, which is exhilarating. Male vocals are full sounding but not overly full or grunty. It again has that very airy yet full sounding texture which really bolsters a new dimension to listening. I really enjoy this new added subtlety to the overall tone. Instruments that dwell in this range also is very articulate sounding. Pianos are very crisp and clear with a very high level of finesse. Treble. I bet by now you already guessed the character of the treble. It is basically effortless, smooth and airy. It really adds a very good level of perceived space. But covering the basic aspects of treble, your cymbals and crashes are very well defined. Crashes especially has this very delicate radiance that disperse very naturally as well. I do feel that treble here is very effortless and smooth, almost rivaling IEMs that uses the Sonian EST drivers that will probably quite a few pretty penny more than the EA1000. Soundstage, with regards to width and height, simply stellar when it comes to width and height. The Simgot is class leading at this price point when it comes to soundstage reproduction. It just renders staging to be very wide and tall and does it in a very beautiful manner. When it comes to depth and positioning, it has very good depth rendering as you can easily tell how far the instruments are. Positioning again is also very beautiful. There is this airiness that makes positioning very believable. And next we have to compare them with some other IEMs, firstly versus the Kiwiears Quintet. I do find that the Quintet to be rather similar to the EA1000 but with different tonality. The Quintet is another IEM with excellent resolution that is achieved with 4 different driver types. It will give you a very good resolution performance but tonally isn't as consistent as the EA1000 with its beautiful airy rendition of music. Versus the Tanchjim Kara. Now the Kara is priced just a bit cheaper than the EA1000. The Kara has a warm character which is very different from the EA1000. But I do feel that the EA1000 has better resolution characteristics with a nice, fuller, airy tone. The Kara, on the other hand, is a very safe, warm tuning that was a signature that was popular quite a while back. In terms of resolution, the EA1000 is actually quite a ways ahead. And finally, in conclusion, the EA1000 is an IEM that I really like. It just does so many things right with excellent levels of detail that has really full bass and it's beautifully resonant and airy. It is certainly very natural sounding and I found myself grinning from ear to ear when listening to them. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Supercharged Super Audio Show with this review of the Simgot EA1000 Fermat. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am actually feeling a lot better this week. Still easily tired, but the strength is definitely coming back. With that said, if you like the content so far, please kindly press the like and subscribe button somewhere down below. It will help a pal out immensely and I'm very thankful for that. With that said, I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.